If you would like to know, what can you say? How do you know what to say to start a conversation? If you've got aphasia, you're a survivor of stroke or brain injury, or some other reason why you want your speech better and you want to start conversations better, I have what I think could be a really useful tip for you. So I hope you'll stick with me for that. Well, I am Kirsten, and I have the privilege of working with a lot of people who are making good progress on their speech. They want to know how to start a good conversation. They just never feel like they're quite ready, or they're often at a loss for what to say to get a good conversation going, or to revive a conversation that maybe started great but now is deadsville. So here's something very simple that you could train yourself to do, and I have suggested it to a lot of people, and it's working for a lot of people. So here's what it is. If you spend just a couple of minutes each day just thinking, having a very short meeting with yourself, thinking and get ready to jot down just a couple of key words, you can use that quick note to serve as a conversation starting material anytime you need to start a conversation. So every day, if you find a certain place in your house, a certain time of day, that's called an atomic habit. If you have not read the book Atomic Habits or listened to the audio version of Atomic Habits by James Clear, I highly recommend it for a lot of reasons. This is a great one. It's really good for stroke survivors and brain injury survivors, especially, I think. And in fact, James Clear is a survivor of brain injury. All right, just an extra bonus there. So here's what it is. Each and every day, you find a certain place, a certain time of the day, you sit with yourself. You could even set a timer for 3-5 minutes. It won't take long at all. However you like to take notes, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on a little piece of paper or something, just think in your mind for a moment, what have I been thinking about? What have I heard recently, saw recently, read recently that is a little bit interesting? What's been going on with my life a little bit? You want to connect with people with real current things that are on your mind, on your heart, experiences that you're having, so that you can be authentic with that other person, in the moment with that other person, and that's what's going to start an interesting conversation that will really go somewhere. You don't want generic things. You don't want to start generic conversations that probably have a dead end, and the dead end is probably coming really soon. So you want to start by being the most interesting, authentic version of yourself that you can be. I'm going to give you a little something what I'm thinking of, things that I've been thinking of. As I was getting ready to explain this to you, I thought, gosh, what would I have said for today, my quick little meeting with myself? All right, I'm going to tell you my 3 bullet points, and I do think you ought to have 3 bullet points as a result of this quick 3-minute meeting that you have with yourself. My 3 bullet points for today would be tomboys, snow days, and new cars. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a quick version of why are those things on my mind, and how I might approach a new conversation with those things. Tomboy is at the top of my list because I have a 10-year-old son. He's in 5th grade, and the different birthday parties that he's been going to this year, they have included one girl. All these boys and one girl from my son's class. She's a tomboy. She gets along very well with the boys and has a great time with them, and it's really fun. My son has a play date with that tomboy tomorrow, and I think that's just really sweet that they are connecting on common things, and they happen to be boy and girl hanging out together. Childhood. I love it. I could start a conversation by saying that, my son has an interesting new friend. She's a tomboy. She loves to hang out with the boys, and they have a great time. That's a good conversation starter. And if I was laying that down for you, you could think in your mind whether you have any experience. Maybe you are a tomboy, or you know a tomboy, or you have an opinion about that. This would be a good place to pause and think for yourself, do you have a thought or a story about tomboys? You could press pause and come right back and continue on. Try to say it out loud as if I could hear you right here in this moment. Now back to the exercise. Snow days, that's a little more boring. I try to stay away from weather, to be honest with you. The last one that popped in my mind was new cars, because someone I know just had the experience, maybe it's happened to you. His car broke down, and turns out the mechanic said he needed thousands of dollars worth of repairs. So we had to spend an entire day thinking, do I really want to repair this older car, or is it time for me to get a new car for myself? I've been in that situation. Have you been in that situation? I want to encourage you, if you'd like, to press pause right here, and you could answer for yourself. Have you ever had a broken car and had to make a choice whether to repair it or get a different car? You could say broken car, new car, or maybe you're capable of a phrase or a sentence. I want to encourage you to try and do what you can right now, and come back when you're ready. We're back to the exercise in 3, 2, 1. So he made a decision about that, and I saw the new car he decided to get, and it's been on my mind. So I could share that with you if you and I were having a conversation. We were trying to start a conversation. Maybe you and I had shown up to a meeting and we were the first ones there, and we're looking at each other. What are we going to say? Gosh, I know somebody who just had to get a new car. His car broke down. It was unexpected, and before you know it, he's got a new car. Wow, crazy how that can happen. Has that ever happened to you? That'd be an interesting way to start a conversation, I think. And even if it hasn't happened to you, you could give your opinion about that. Ooh, new cars are exciting. Or, oh man, that sounds pretty stressful. I'm glad he found a solution. There are all kinds of ways to go about that. Now, I was talking to somebody that I have the privilege of coaching, and he was working on this. He's been doing this 3-minute meeting to get 3 bullet points, and it's been going really well for him. He told me his 3 bullet points the other day, and here's what they are. Sleeping problems, visiting brothers, Valentine's Day dinners. All right, kind of interesting already, right? So he told me he's been having a challenge falling asleep and staying asleep at night for about 7 years. He was on a medication. He suddenly went off the medication and was looking for an alternative. And in going off the medication this time, he stumbled upon an over-the-counter sleep aid, and now he's sleeping really, really well. First time in 7 years. That's a huge deal, right? Now you could start an interesting conversation by saying something like that. All right, his brother was visiting. There were some interesting details about that. I always encourage people to play your most interesting cards. Tell your most interesting details first. You never know what will be in someone else's experience, or what their opinion or response to what you say might be that could lead to something interesting. You want to have something going and connection, carrying and spinning on, and you could go in so many different directions. His last bullet point, so let's see, there was sleeping trouble, brother visiting, and then Valentine's Day dinner. as I record this video, Valentine's Day is approaching. I was asking him if he was going to be spending time with any friends that he could practice having conversations with, and he said there's a Valentine's Day dinner at a friend's house, and that he and several of his friends are invited. So they're all going to descend on this friend's house for a Valentine's Day dinner. And a really good idea, because Valentine's Day doesn't have to just be about romantic love. I think it should be about your friends and the people that you have loving connections with in your life. So there's a whole bunch of things that could be said about that too. Can you see how those 3 bullets thought about in those 3 minutes could start really interesting conversations? So I want to challenge you, if starting conversations is a goal you have you want to get better at that, and that's a goal, I want to challenge you to try it. Try it today. Take 3 minutes and see what bullet points, just a keyword, just one keyword, can you bring to your mind. You have that at the ready so that when you're in a situation and it's time to start a conversation, you've got something ready to go that's meaningful and true for you and that can connect you to the other person. It'll dial down the stress. It should build your confidence as you practice it. I hope it does, and I would love to know. I'm so glad that you have found this channel, so thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. I hope you're subscribed, and we'll see you then.